What's going on, everybody? Happy new comic book day. GemMint here, gonna go over today's new comics as spoiler free as possible. It's Wednesday, September 15th. Decent stack of books, but kind of a rough week for comics, and you'll see what I mean as I continue. Before we get into it though, make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the videos, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss one. We got a big giveaway going on for our next subscriber milestone of 150K, so hang around to the end of the video for not only my pick of the week, but for the details on that giveaway. So let's just jump right into it. We'll start with what I read digitally. I got an early copy of The Harbinger, issue 1 from Valiant. This is by Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, and Robbie Rodriguez. And I really dug this, man. I like Harbinger. They've always been kind of like the X-Men of the Valiant universe. And this one is really accessible for new readers. Peter Stanchek wakes up. He doesn't remember who he is. He knows that he's got these powers, and he's really experimenting with them, and you're learning them with him through this run. So it kind of picks up where it left off with him, but it's, like I said, really accessible for new readers. Big, flashy, vibrant neon art style to it, and it really gives you a good idea of who this character is, what he's capable of, what is going on in this Valiant universe. I think they do a great job of mixing like indie storytelling with superhero comics, so I really dug it. Check it out when it comes out. Speaking of number ones from Image Comics, we have Primordial issue 1. This is by Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. I reviewed this when I got an early look at it, so it comes out today. Make sure to pick it up. If you guys liked their Gideon Falls run, if you like Department of Truth and that kind of what if this real world situation didn't happen the way we were told it happened, having to do with the space race and with the monkeys and dogs that were sent into space, pick this up. It's a real mind twist, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And the last one I read digitally, also from Image, is Time Before Time, issue 5. This one's by Shalvey, McConville, Palmer, O'Halloran, and Oatsmain Elehu. And I really wanted to like this series, man. I loved issue number 1, but every issue since, it's just been super confusing. I feel like the art has been getting a little bit more basic as we go on as well. I just don't really know what's going on. It's bouncing back and forth between time from the year 2000 to 3500 and gets a little confusing. I kind of liked the connection between the characters in issue 1 that we haven't really gotten since, man. I guess we kind of got glimpses of it here and there with families that want to travel to a certain destination with their family, but only some of them can go and some have to stay back. So that was kind of cool in a prior issue, but in this one, I'm a little bit lost on like where we're even at with the story. Losing steam on this one for me. And then from Aftershock, we have Beyond the Breach, issue 3. This one is by Ed Brisson along with Damian Cochero, and I really like this series. It's fun. It feels like Walking Dead. It feels like something that you would have gotten from Image back in the day, where it was like this situational thing and you have these characters trying to survive, trying to figure out what's going on. It seems like they've either crossed dimensions or dimensions have been merged with our world, and you can't really trust anybody. And that's what reminds me of Walking Dead. People come, they say they're here to help and they're here to save you, but are they really here to kill you and steal your goods or whatever rations you may have? So I kind of like that. I like the banter between this man with the squid on his head who you see on the cover, and he's from supposedly a different dimension, and he doesn't know what miles are or kilometers are, and he has his own dialect for distance, and there's some playful things there, some cool action scenes, great artwork here, and quality comics coming out of Aftershock. All right, moving on over to DC, we'll start with Batman Urban Legends. This is issue 7, and we have 4 completely new stories. There's a Batman Beyond story, a Future State story, Batman 666, and DC 1 Million. First of all, great cover. I'm a sucker for Batman Beyond. And this was a cool story because it's kind of like a retelling, a modernization, if you will, of the Batman Beyond origin story. And the artwork is similar to the animated series, but it just looks like a little bit more realistic, like slightly detailed, a little bit higher. But it was great. Really shows Terry McGinnis with some compassion here against the enemy who they fight here, which it's funny as I say it's nothing like what it sounds like. So it's worth reading. The Future State story, no, didn't like it. Very forgettable. I think it was kind of like introducing a new Robin in the Future State world. Very kind of like scratchy, cartoonish art style. Didn't really dig it. Batman 66. Batman 666 was a trip, man. You had like this alternate dimension where you have this evil Batman, and he kills and he uses potions and sprays and stuff like that, and it was like a sadistic kind of creepy world with a really good art style. I thought it was Liam Sharp for a second, but it wasn't. The credits are on the inside. But anyway, great art style. And the DC 1 million story, I'm not familiar with that run. I didn't read the DC 1 million, but they had this great Batman from the year, or from the 800 and something century, and it's a Batman that can kind of change his costume to Batmans from the past at a whim. So you got Nightfall Batman, you got whatever other Batmans that he turned into. So that was pretty cool, but I was a little bit lost on all the other characters. But overall, trade paperback format, pretty oversized as this run has been so far, and I enjoyed it. On to Chip Zdarsky's Justice League Last Ride. This is issue 5. He's joined by Mendonca and Angelini. So we got the end of the story first, and now we're kind of through the battle. What was the last battle of the Justice League? And it was fun. There was a lot of action, a lot of big artwork, big enemies from Steppenwolf to Darkseid, interesting things that happened with the Battery of Oa. Interesting to see how Superman reacts to Batman and John's sacrifice. So big fun, epic type of battle. I feel like the whole issue was just a whole big fight. So it was a fun ride. No pun intended. All right, then we have Grant Morrison's Superman and the Authority, issue 3 out of 4. He's joined by Janine, Foreman, Belair, and Sinclair. In this one, they recruit Enchantress. So Superman is way in the future. He's been losing powers. He's recruiting anti-heroes to join his new authority. So he's got Apollo and Midnighter. He's got the Steel's niece, who is now Steel, and Manchester Black, kind of helping him recruit all these people. I was surprised. I didn't really realize that this is only a 4-issue miniseries. Like, I guess they're going to just set up some kind of new ongoing. And I didn't read the original Authority run, and I guess that's kind of like a big revelation in here. So, I don't know. I found it kind of boring, to be honest. Then we have The Joker, issue 7 by James Tynion IV with March and Prianto, backup story, which is Punchline in jail with Tynion, Johns, and Boo. Man, I don't know why this is called Joker. I don't think Joker was even in this issue except for one little frame, maybe. It should be called Gordon. I don't know why it's not. Maybe because Joker sells better. Really nothing happened in this issue. It was super boring. I guess just tying it back to the Bane stuff and the death of Bane from the Tom King run, or was that the beginning of Tynion's run? It was just boring. Nothing happened. Same with the backup story. Same kind of thing has been happening in every backup story. The story hasn't really progressed forward much. I don't even remember who it was from the Bat family who broke inside of jail to break somebody out, and I don't know. Kind of a whack issue. And then Batman 89, issue 2 out of 6 by Ham, Quinones, and Ito. Man, this book took a weird turn, man. It doesn't feel anything like Michael Keaton's Batman. It doesn't act like him. He doesn't do like what you would feel like that Batman would do from the 1989 Tim Burton films. What happens to him in this issue, you never really seen him in that position where he fails. And then the Harvey Dent stuff got super political and like social justice-y, and man, they kind of lost me with this one. Like, it took a weird turn. It was kind of a hard week for DC, man. We have the final issue of Rorschach, issue 12, Tom King, Jorge Fornes, and Dave Stewart. What the hell was this story about? What was the point of this story? It didn't have to be called Rorschach. It had nothing to do with Rorschach or the Watchmen. It was this crazy political story, kind of like an assassination, assassinating the president type of story by Tom King. Little twist ending. It was whack, man. I don't know what the hell the point of this series was. Then we got Wonder Woman 779, the end of the arc, finally. Cloonan, Conrad, Moore, and Bond villains. So this is the end of the arc. This is like post Dark Knight Death Metal, where Wonder Woman sacrifices herself. So she hasn't been around since then. She's been in Valhalla and Asgard and all these other places on this little story with her new friend Siegfried or Siggy, going after Janus, this evil being who's impersonating Wonder Woman, slicing through the multiverse. So it ends. The run's been up and down. There were some really strong issues, especially the very beginning. The first few issues were really good, and then it got whimsical, it got fairy tale-y, art changed, it got weird, and it kind of ended like, okay, whatever, it's over. I guess Wonder Woman is supposed to be coming back to where everyone else is at, so I'm probably going to stick around to see what they do with her, but it's just been kind of, I don't know, it wasn't worth the ride, I guess. Then we have I Am Batman issue 1 by John Ridley. He's joined by Coppel and Sinclair. So I liked the Next Batman from Future State. Totally hated Next Batman's second son. He wasn't even Batman, and I guess that was the point, kind of building up to this I Am Batman. And yeah, it was okay. I mean, Jace Fox as Batman. The only thing about Jace, he's super unlikable. Like, what are his motivations even? Like, Batman watched his parents get murdered. Billionaires that were murdered, made him an orphan. He had all this money to bring them justice, to make sure that never happened to any little boy ever again. Like, why is Jace Batman? It just seems really weird. But I liked seeing him as Batman. It was cool to get some action, kind of like year one Jace Fox Batman. Last from DC, we have Titans United, issue 1 out of 7, Scott Lewis, Trindad, and Locust. So this, it was okay. You know, I never really grew up as a Teen Titans kid. I didn't follow them that much. They have a show on HBO Max that's doing pretty well, so I guess that's why they're busting out these Teen Titans books. I don't know, it was okay. Teen Titans up against this guy who kind of gets the powers of all of them. It reminded me of like Silver Age X-Men fighting Mimic, kind of a thing like that. The guy can't control the powers. I don't know. That's kind of the gist of it. I don't feel an attachment to any of the characters. I don't really care. I did think it was weird how Red Hood jumps out holding 2 guns and his fingers are on the trigger. Like, dude, you don't hold your fingers on the trigger. Like, I don't know. I thought that was weird. Kind of tying in with what's going on with Jonathan Kent from Suicide Squad and from whatever else he's been in lately. So it was okay, kind of forgettable. All right, guys, before we jump into the Marvel stuff and my pick of the week, a quick word from our sponsor, Cheap Graphic Novels. Cheap Graphic Novels is your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they're now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. Cheap Graphic Novels is currently running a special promotion for the Geminites. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Mint Collectibles at checkout and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is only valid for the United States. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. All right, let's start with Fantastic Four Life Story, issue 4, which is the 90s. This is by Mark Russell, Sean Isaacs, Francisco Mana, and Nolan Woodard. See that Silver Surfer on the cover. Galactus is coming. In this world, that's what it's all about, man. Galactus is coming. We're preparing decades for it. The Fantastic Four are aging appropriately from the 60s into the 90s. And I think they do a really good job in this life story of making an emotional connection with the characters. You care about the Thing and what he's been going through, the madness that Reed Richards has put himself through preparing for Galactus. And we're finally ready. We're ready for Galactus. And we get word when Galactus is actually coming. I thought it was going to be in this issue, but you know, Galactus always sends a herald first, so you can imagine what this issue is about. Touching, it was good, it's dramatic. You feel for the characters, you feel for Invisible Woman with Namor, and really dug this issue. Then we have Darth Vader, issue 16, tying in with War of the Bounty Hunters, I guess. I'm not reading that, but it's by Pac, Ienso, Keith, and Rosenberg. I tell you what though, man, whether this is a tie-in, if it loosely ties in or barely ties in, really touching stuff here with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. You know, this is while Han Solo's in Carbonite and his body's kind of being transported between Jabba the Hutt, between Darth Vader. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker knows that Darth Vader is his father and is ready to face him face on to let his friends escape. And I like how they really kind of explain Luke's need and wanting for friendship for the lack of having his father growing up. So that got kind of deep as well. The artwork is great here. The action scenes are great throughout this entire run. I've really been digging the Darth Vader run since issue 1. I feel like the tie-in got it stuck in this place where it can't move forward. So for that, I'm kind of losing interest, and I really want to see it progress after this War of the Bounty Hunter stuff. All right, next up we have Eternals. Thanos Rises. This is issue 1 by Kieran Gillen, Dustin Weaver, and Matthew Wilson. So I read the first 5 issues of Eternals. Luckily, I had the trade paperback. I read the 6th issue, and although I felt like the series was kind of boring, I liked the big revelation at the end. I'm not really going to get into that because of spoilers. Not that it really has a lot to do with Thanos Rises, but this is directly after that. It's also kind of tying in with the Thanos Rises miniseries we got a few years back. I want to say during like the Marvel Now era, where we had like young Thanos and adolescent Thanos and how evil he was. This one goes even before that, to his conception, to his parents, to Mentor and the Eternals, and kind of the ramifications of having Thanos and how that affected the Eternals overall. So, I guess you could kind of tell. I kind of dug this issue, man. I did like issue 6 of Eternals, which was the final issue, I believe. And I liked the Thanos Rises. I'm interested to see where it goes. All right, next up, we got Extreme Carnage, part 7 of 8. And this is the Agony issue. Wong, Galan, Beiruth, and Campbell. Great cover, as they all have been. Yeah, there was some pretty big stuff that happened here. First of all, I loved the Agony symbiote. I thought she was brutal. She reminded me of the Joker a little bit. Like, let me put a smile on that face. She was brutal. We find out who Carnage's host is. We find out what's the plot. What's Carnage's endgame in this story. Great stuff with Flash Thompson and Andy as Agent Anti-Venom and Silence. Looking forward to the next issue. Then we have The Trial of Magneto, issue 2. This is by Williams, Wernick, and Delgado. Man, what the hell is going on here? This felt super weird. This did not feel like Magneto. It didn't really make sense to me. Like Avengers going to Krakoa. They're trying to either pay their respects or get some answers for what happened to Scarlet Witch because, you know, she plays on both teams there, right? So, I don't know. I just felt like Magneto was super out of character, more so than issue 1. Like, I liked seeing him as a villain. Here, I didn't like it. It's like, dude, if you didn't kill her, then just say that. But it's kind of like, I don't know, he's covering for her or for somebody. There's a lot of mystery going on there. But I just felt like the relationship between characters here were super awkward and off-putting and didn't make sense. All right, guys, on to my pick of the week. And if you knew what was out this week, you might have guessed it, Kang the Conqueror, issue 2. So this is by Kelly, Lansing, Magno, and Grutengern. What I really liked about this is that I had some interest in Kang and Rama Tut and Immortus, so I jumped into the omnibus and I just recently read those Kang issues, and then bang, this one ties right in with that. It goes to the Rama Tut era with Kid Kang seemingly escaped the Kang that we've interacted with in the first issue. I really liked the interactions there between Pharaoh Rama Tut, between young Kang. Young Kang is much different than the Kang that we know from the comics. He was told not to love because he doesn't want this young Kang to make the same mistakes that he did. He wants him to be Kang Prime. But it seems like, you know, we've got Kang before he's been jaded, before he's been bitter with conquering, I guess. And I really like it. It's touching. He does have a love interest in this issue, just like the first issue. And I just really enjoyed the storytelling of this issue. The artwork was pretty good, and that's not really what stood out to me. It was more of flashing back to that era, tying in with Fantastic Four stuff, and kind of the end of the Rama Tut era in comics. So that's it for this week's comics. I felt like this was more on the negative side than I usually get. There was a lot of titles that I wasn't really digging this week, man. So let me know, am I crazy, or do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, we're doing a big giveaway for our next subscriber milestone of 150K, and we're giving away the Deja Thoris premium format by Sideshow. All you gotta do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a like and comment below. Once we reach the milestone, we'll go live, pick a random video where I promoted the giveaway, and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. I appreciate you guys watching, but don't go anywhere. Check out last week's New Comic Book Day reviews if you missed them, and the top 10 comics of last week that I did with Rock and Robbie. We'll be doing a top 10 for this week as well. That video should come out on Saturday. Stay minty fresh. Peace.